Yesterday in Minnesota, we announced a 3.8% increase in our premiums for our state employees, which is still an increase for the premiums. But that's down from what was going to be a 10 or 11% increase. And now we're going to take the difference and rebate it back to the employees in the form of a debit card. But you might say, well, how did we get to 3.8%? It's because we have begun the process of starting to give consumers information about the quality of the service in a user-friendly, easy-to-understand format, about the price, and then give them some financial incentives to make wise decisions. And guess what? They mostly do. And so we've said to our state employees and the marketplace in Minnesota, you can go anywhere you want. Free choice. But if you go to the high-quality, high-efficiency place, you will pay less. If you go to the low-quality, low-efficiency place, you're going to pay more. And guess what they're doing? They're migrating to the more efficient place. When I go get my health care at Minute Clinic and part of my health care at the drugstore in Eagan, Minnesota, there's no mystery about the price. It's posted on the door. And there's no mystery in part why I'm going there. I don't need an appointment. It's convenient. But also, I don't have to pay the $25 copay in my plan for most of the services I get there. I'm cheap in that regard. And I get good service there. If we're going to fix this market, we have to let people know what stuff costs, we have to give them quality measurements, and we have to give them financial incentives to use the system wisely. And we can't have all this paperwork either, and we'll go through all that, but we have a flexible spending account for our state employees. You know, you got to go collect all these receipts from every providers during the year, and then every so often you got to get this big form and attach all your receipts, and half the time I've lost half my receipts, and then got to fill out 3 pages of documents, and I send it into the administrator, and they don't like the way I filled out the form, and they send it back, and another hour of work on the form, and I send it back in, and I'm sure 3 or 4 people have looked at it since then. Well, why don't we just have a debit card where the value of our flexible spending accounts gets swiped at the desk at a provider and just be done with it and just eliminate all that? I mean, that paperwork's the old world. So we have to pay for outcomes and align money to performance, same principle in healthcare. And then lastly, energy. And I won't belabor this because it's gotten so much attention, but we have a supply and demand problem. And candidly, we had a crisis like this in the 1970s. Prices subsided, and the country and the policy leaders have been sleeping at the switch to a large degree in the last 30 years. I am all for renewable energy. More wind, more solar, more biogas, more biomass, more geothermal, more next-generation biofuels. What we have now is a good start, but we've got to transition to the next phase of that for obvious reasons. But we also have to come to grips with the reality that so much of that, either in terms of how fast we can spool it up or how much sense it makes economically or how much capacity it can offer, is not yet there. And the baseload energy pie chart of this country, as an example, 50% coal, 20% nuclear, 20% natural gas, the rest miscellaneous. If you say to our baseload energy providers, you can't use coal and you can't use nuclear, and by the way, natural gas is we're already a net importer of it, it's really expensive, what options are you giving them? And when you get to this winter and those heating bills are 50, 60, 70% higher than last year, people are going to be screaming for good reason about why didn't we do this better. So yes, all of that new technology is coming and we're all for it as long as it makes good sense, but we also have to be candid with each other and say, in the meantime, we need to get all our hands on all the energy we can. That, from my standpoint, we need to have more nuclear power. We need to have clean coal. And a lot more. Let me just finish by saying, in Chicago, there's, of course, so many great sports legends, but as I fondly remember Michael Jordan playing for the Chicago Bulls, and he had so many great performances over his career, but in one night he scored 56 points all by himself in a basketball game here in Chicago, as the story goes. And of course, his coach saw that as an epic performance, and they wanted to give him an ovation. So during a break towards the end of the game, they got him out of the game, let him walk off the court, and the hometown crowd gave him this roaring ovation, deservedly so. And into the game in his place goes this rookie who had never played in the NBA before. And with just seconds to go in the game, this rookie gets the ball. He's about to shoot, but he gets fouled. And so he goes to the free throw line, and he gets to throw 2 free throws. He makes one, he misses one, so he gets 1 point. Buzzer goes off, the game ends, everybody goes into the locker room, and Michael Jordan, of course, is being swarmed by the press over his 56-point spectacular performance. And one enterprising reporter drifts off over to this rookie and says, you have never played in the NBA before. I mean, what did it feel like? What should we take from it? What message do you have? And the rookie looked up with a smile on his face and said, I think tonight should be forever remembered as the night that Michael Jordan and I together scored 57 points. We have a divided country, and we've got a lot of challenge. We have to come together, and I think those of us in this room who share conservative principles have strong ideas. I think they are the right ideas. Ideas matter. But we also have to be pragmatic. Ronald Reagan was perhaps one of the strongest, best conservative leaders we've had in this country, and he had a way of getting things done, and we need to get things done. So working together, public-private partnerships like ALEC, working together with each other in terms of the exchange of best practices, working together across maybe regional lines or state lines, working together where it makes sense across party lines is a good thing for the country. And we need to move forward, and I'm convinced that the people in this room can contribute mightily to that, so let's get going. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of a conference.